And this is the Viofo HK6 Hardwire Kit, and on this video I'm going to show you how it works and how I prepared this for installation. As always, I have placed a link in the description down below to this kit if you'd like to get one for yourself. So first, let's get familiar with the kit. This end right here is going to go to the dashcam, USB-C right angle connector, and this end right here is going to go to the fuse box of the car. And this little box has actually two really cool features that are not common on hardwire kits. The first one is this little switch, and I'll show you what it does. And the second one is the fact that both of the ends can be separated from the hardwire kit control box. Now this is huge because this means that in the future, if there is a need to replace this box or to upgrade the box, the wiring can be left intact in the vehicle as opposed to having to reroute and reconnect all the wiring. And this hardwire kit features low voltage battery protection, and that's what this switch is used for. It allows us to tell the hardwire kit when to turn off to prevent the battery from being drained. Now there are 4 selections to choose from. You can see those indicated right here, and those correspond with the different positions of the switch. The highest position right here is going to turn off the kit at 12.4 volts. The next position is going to turn off the kit at 12.2, the next position at 12.0, and then the lowest position is going to turn off the kit at 11.8 volts. So you may be wondering, what is the best position to put this switch at? And the answer is that this is a matter of preference. 12.4 volts, which is that highest position right here, is going to allow you to run parking mode for a certain period of time, but your battery very quickly is going to get to 12.4 and parking mode is going to stop. Now, if you go all the way to the bottom, 11.8, that is the most aggressive position while still protecting your battery from being drained, but now this allows you to run parking mode longer until your battery reaches 11.8. At that point, the kit is going to turn off power to this. Now let's cover the 3 ends that are going to go to the fuse box of the vehicle. All 3 ends have to be connected in order for the kit to work correctly. Now notice that the first one has been labeled ACC. This wire needs to have power when the vehicle's key is in the accessory position or when it's on the on position. When the car is off, there should not be any power going to the ACC wire. The next wire is labeled battery. Now this wire needs to have power all the time, even when the vehicle is off. And finally, we have this wire which has been labeled ground. This needs to go to a metallic surface on the car's body. And what I like to do, I typically find a bolt that I can loosen, then I slide the ground wire underneath, retightening the bolt, giving me ground. And the fuse box of the vehicle is going to have spaces similar to the ones on this fuse box right here. And to connect the wire to those fuse spaces, I like to use fuse taps. Fuse taps allows me to directly tap into the fuse box just like if it was a fuse, allowing me to connect the kit directly to the fuse box. And fuse taps come in different sizes. So to know which is the right fuse tap for my fuse box, what I like to do is I pull a fuse from my fuse box and then I can see what size it is. This particular one happens to be the mini fuse size, so I'm gonna use the mini fuse tap size. And here are the different fuses that could be found on a vehicle, and next to them is the fuse type that corresponds to each one of them. They're all very different, so it is important to select the right one so it fits the vehicle's fuse box correctly. And now I'm gonna show you how I connect my fuse tap to the wire using this tool. And this connector right here is called a splice, and it is made out of plastic, but on the inside there is a metal sleeve, and inside of that metal sleeve is where I'm gonna insert this wire into. So when I insert this wire into here, it eventually is gonna bottom out somewhere about right here. What I'm making sure is that the exposed wire, this copper, is the only thing that's inside of that metal sleeve. This part right here, the insulation, which in this case is red, is gonna be outside of that metal sleeve. So let's take a look at that. I'm gonna go ahead and insert that in here, and it bottomed out, and you can see all the metal is inside of here, and the insulation, which is this red portion, stops somewhere about right here. Next up, I'm gonna grab this tool and I'm gonna use this bottom portion, and the way that it works is I'm gonna position the tool over the connector somewhere like this. Also notice where I put the connector in the tool position that is labeled insulation. You can see that that line lines up with this, which is the insulation. That is the right spot for it. And also notice where I place the tool. This is where the original wire is, and the new wire is literally underneath the tool right now. So now I'm gonna go ahead and close this tool to secure the wire inside of there. And I'm holding on to this wire to make sure it doesn't come out, and then I'm gonna close the tool until I have a good crimp. And crimping really is the act of squishing this connector together so it secures the wire. Now at this point, some people like to pull on this a little bit, what we call a pull test, to confirm that both of the wires are secured. And on this close-up, you can see where I placed the tool. I placed it right here so it created the indentation right over the wire. And then I'll repeat the process with the next wire, which in this case is yellow. That way I end up with fuse tabs on both of those ends. Now you may be wondering how come I don't use a fuse tab that is yellow in color. That way I end up with red to red and yellow to yellow. And the answer is that fuse tabs with yellow wire or yellow insulation are not common. They're very rare. I just happen to have one. Fuse tabs typically only come in red, so you end up with something that looks like this. But don't worry too much about not being able to get a yellow fuse tab. The color is purely cosmetic. When I install this on the vehicle, I go by the label telling me where this should go, in this case battery, and in this case ACC, instead of going by the color of the fuse tab. And before I insert the fuse tab into the fuse box, I'm gonna need a fuse, and that fuse is gonna go in the top position, and this fuse is gonna be for the hardwire kit itself. Notice again the position where that fuse is loaded onto, and once that fuse is in there, I'm gonna take that fuse tab and insert it into the fuse box until it's fully bottomed out and secure. And fuses do have different amp ratings. You can see that they're all different colors and they all have different numbers indicating the amp rating on them. Your installer will refer to the instructions for your hardwire kit to determine which is the correct fuse amp rating for the fuse to be used in the fuse tab. The other advantage of using fuse tabs is that sometimes on the fuse box there is no empty fuse spaces for me to insert the fuse tab. So what I can do is I can take off a fuse from the vehicle and then I can transfer that fuse to the fuse tab into the second spot, which is the bottom spot. And now with both fuses installed on the fuse tab, I'm able to insert the fuse tab into the fuse box, effectively allowing me to run two fuses off a single fuse spot. And fuse tabs are different than normal fuses in terms of orientation. A normal fuse can be installed in either orientation and it should work fine. However, a fuse tab, because of the way that it is constructed internally, only has one correct orientation. It's either going to be installed in this orientation or it's going to be installed in this other orientation for it to work correctly. And the way to know which is the correct orientation is by physically probing the vehicle's fuse box. And I have made another video showing that process in detail. If you want to see that, I'll put a link to that in the description down below. Also notice that the fuse box is not going to tell you which is the position for battery and which is the position for ACC. The way to determine that again is by probing the fuse box, and that same video where I cover orientation, I also cover how I find the position for battery and how I find the position for ACC. Again, that video will be linked in the description down below. And if your dashcam supports hybrid park monitoring, the HK6 Hardwire Kit enables one additional option under vehicle battery protection, and that is cutoff voltage. Inside of here, you'll find additional low voltage cutoff settings to choose from: 12.4, 12.2, or 12.0. And these are separate from the low voltage cutoff switch selection on the physical hardwire kit. These are used to trigger the park mode hybrid park recording. We get three options: either time-lapse, low-bit recording, or event detection. So the dashcam is gonna enter whichever park mode option you select on this screen, and once the vehicle's battery reaches the low voltage cutoff setting screen that we selected on the screen, the dashcam is going to exit from this park mode selection and is going to switch over into impact recording. And this can further protect your vehicle's battery since impact detection consumes less power than staying in time-lapse mode or using low-bit recording or using motion detection. I'll place a link in the description down below to this hardwire kit in case you need to get one for yourself, and I'm also gonna put links down there to the crimp tool as well and my full installation video. And if you guys have any other questions regarding this, please put that in the comments down below. If you found any part of this video helpful, make sure you hit the like button to support the channel and stay tuned as I have a lot more dashcam reviews coming up. Thank you guys for watching, and as always, I'll see you on the next one.